just get right into it again.
Hey.
Hey Jake. Okay, so this is kind of interesting because, well, it's only 4:30, so I thought when you said we're gone till Friday, oh, well, I guess that means you'd be back Friday. Okay. But I said I would stream on Friday, so I'll stream for a little bit here if you want to listen in the background, and then we can get to what we're doing, okay? Does that work for you?
Yeah, let me actually really quickly go check when dinner is, because...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'd be, yeah. And then I'll probably, you eat dinner around like 5:30, right?
Yes, we eat it super early.
That's fair. Are you in game right now?
No, I'm not in game right now.
Fair.
I was, but then I was like, wait, hold up. I need to make sure that I'm not gonna just vanish somewhere and have to ditch the game.
Oh, yeah, and like leave mid-game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll start here and then do it for a little bit, and then I'll be done, and then we can do stuff, okay?
Awesome.
I'll stay in here, though. Hold on. Do you want me to share with you so you can, like, hear what's going on in the background, or?
Sure, if you want.
Okay. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Let's see, where were we? Oh, this is kind of awkward because it's the final episode, but it's fine.
Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney, investigator.
Yeah, this one's awesome. Okay, hold on, let me turn up the music a little bit because it's really low. The YATAGARASU didn't escape through the door to the room or the window. The escape route was the revolving fireplace wall and into the next room over. Now do you see? If the YATAGARASU had escaped into the next room, then the thief would have run it straight into Agent Sheena. Meaning that it's impossible for her to have missed the YATAGARASU. That is the meaning of this, Miles. Oh yeah, this is like my favorite character, Jake, on the left. She's the prosecutor in the second game for Phoenix, right?
I just but then I didn't actually.
What's that? Wait, what?
I held the push to talk down, but didn't actually say anything. So
Oh, I see. You're kinda quiet, by the way.
I have my volume turned down. I'm not talking too loud like they usually.
Oh, okay.
If you want me to talk louder like I normally do.
Wait, hold on. I think maybe my Discord's down. Let me turn it up. Now it's at full. Here, say something again.
Howdy.
There we go. Okay. That's the meaning of this, Miles. Well, would you care to explain, Agent Sheena, how you managed to completely miss the fleeing YATAGARASU, or shall I? Your claim that you were in the next room was a lie all along, wasn't it? The truth is, you were the one saw in the coat. Pretending to be the YATAGARASU, and you were the one who she chased after. As you tried to lose her, you ran into Mr. Coton's office and headed for the fireplace. Then, you shed your coat in the next room, leaving it there to emerge as Agent Sheena. After that, you came back around to place Kay under arrest. Yes, you're probably really confused right now.
Very, very, very confused.
Basically, okay, so basically YATAGARASU is basically a modern day Robin Hood. And this chick right now is trying to accuse our partner of being the YATAGARASU and the murderer. But she basically ran into the room, ran to the revolving fireplace, went into the next room, took off the suit, and then pretended to be herself, and then went into the room that she just escaped from and accused her, because she went in there. It's kind of confusing. Does that sound about right? If not, then speak now or forever hold your peace. How dare you make Kay look like the bad guy when you're the suspicious one, pal? Sheena?
I like that animation.
I know, right? That laugh. I remember this irritating laugh. I'm getting chills down my spine. That's Kay, by the way, our partner in this game. She's basically like the replacement Maya.
Maya was so much better.
Yeah. I don't think they could easily have her in this game, though, because she's like Phoenix's partner and everything, but yeah, she's cool, too. It can't be,
Yeah, that
but
makes
it
sense.
has to be. Sheena, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry, it was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh. Funny, you say? Yes, that you would accuse me of being the YATAGARASU. The prosecutors of this country really are also very strange. Do you think you can get away with this by simply laughing it off? You think I'm taking things too lightly? I think not. It's that prosecutor who is. Look, everything you said earlier is nothing more than mere speculation. The YATAGARASU fled through the fireplace. Do you have any proof to back up your claim? If you don't, then you haven't proven anything regarding the YATAGARASU'S escape route. The tone of voice you're taking with me now has certainly changed. That's because it's been a while since I've had this much fun. I think I'll let loose, and then we can have a real battle of wits. For an agent of Interpol to show me the true power of her mind, it is a great honor. Don't underestimate me. I'm not some foolish broad, you know. I know, and that is why I won't hold anything back either as I answer your question. My question? Here is your proof that the revolving fireplace wall in Bobol was used recently. Oh. Shoot.
Look at all this.
Yeah, we have a lot of evidence here.
Evidence that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, so basically the basic premise of this episode is that there once was a country named Cadopia, the Republic, or Cadopia, like 7 years ago. But for some reason it split into two separate entities. So it's like a country torn in two, and we're at the embassy in America. So it's in America, but it's both countries' embassies. So this embassy is quite literally split in two. Let me show you. See, look, this embassy is quite literally split in two for the two countries, yeah. And this area is like where both of them converge, the Theatrum Neutralis. It's like the neutral area.
That's
Yeah, it's really weird.
interesting.
Oh, well there are signs. Take that! I'm sorry, but is this really your honest answer to my question? Yes. According to Ambassador Paleno's testimony, he said that he was burning some documents in the fireplace with Mr. Cochin. Oh. The ashes of what they burned were left in the fireplace, so they should have been there. However, when we went to investigate the room, the ashes weren't there. Hold it. Why is that a problem? Maybe someone cleaned them up? Objection! Unfortunately for you, Master Planer said that he forgot to. And so the question remains, why were the ashes missing? The answer is simple. When the YATAGARASU went through the fireplace wall, the ashes were pushed into the next room by the wall as well. The movements of the ashes that were in Mr. Coach's office is my proof. And just what is so funny, ashes proof? Are you even allowed to submit such flaky evidence in court? You still wish to fight us? Of course, why wouldn't I? In that case, let's hear your counter-argument. My counter-argument, huh? This really is just like being in court. Well, to me, we're simply continuing from where we left off all those years ago. Oh yeah, so the case before this, Jake, this chick tried to shoot us with a pistol.
What?
Yeah. And we dove to the side.
How is she not... What?
How is she not in jail?
Yeah.
Well, she escaped and she changed identity. That her name is really Callisto Yu. See, she looked like this. That's why it showed the two people laughing next to each other. This is the person, and she's disguised as this person. That's why we don't know her age.
Ah.
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if we're at a crime scene or in court. Let's finish this here and now. I suppose. I've had a lot of fun today, but I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. This is the same thing she said to us before she was about to shoot us.
Uh-oh.
Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Oh, here we go. She nods her testimony, she nods rebuttal. In my eyes, all you've proven is that the rotating fireplace wall was used. But you can't really call that proof that the YATAGARASU used the fireplace, now can you? So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer with real evidence. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation, and we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Coach's office. And there you have it, my counter-argument. That's very impressive. She has seen through to the fact that I have yet to gather that one piece of evidence. What is it, Kay? Oh yeah, Gumshoe's in this game too, that's right. Yeah, he's in this game and the second one of this game.
Beautiful.
It's amazing, yeah. I haven't heard a peep out of you in quite a while now. If you don't think you can handle it, feel free to leave the rest to us. But Okay, pull yourself together. You are the true heir to the YATAGARASU name, are you not? If you want to steal the truth, then you must never take your eyes off of it. This chase you're running to catch the truth. You must see it through to the very end. Mr. Edgeworth, you're right. I will see this through to the end. So, you go get her for me, Mr. Edgeworth. With pleasure. Looks like a lack of evidence has left you wide open, doesn't it? Sheena, please, show me you're someone I can trust. Don't worry. This will be the deciding match, you'll see. I'm truly sorry, Agent Lang, but I simply can't allow her to escape me again. Very well then, Agent Sheena, shall we begin? I'm ready whenever you are. Rebuttal, Sheena's rebuttal. Look, she has like, do you notice her eye color? Look at that.
Oh, baby.
Here we go.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's like crimson red jewel. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation, and we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Coach's office. Hold it! So you really didn't find anything? Yes, as I said, not one suspicious thing. Although, as you already know. We did find the YATAGARASU'S key in the document detailing the smuggling operation. But we still haven't found the blade that belongs to the Bobbly's knife handle yet. Oh yeah, so basically the whole premise of the plot of this game is that Edgeworth is chasing down Leeds this international smuggling ring.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Man. He looks like what's his face?
Like who?
Captain Thunderbird or whatever he was.
Captain Thunderbird? Let me see.
Whatever, the really shocking man in the first game.
Oh, I know you. The guy with the lightning hair?
Yeah.
He kind of does, actually. What the hell? I think it's probably because his build is is wide like his or something.
Yeah. Really similar, has a little, like, kind of ripped shirt and the spiky hair.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
At least this guy's not, like, evil, though.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Ha! You see? My subordinates worked hard to investigate everything. So there was nothing else to find, alright? Wow, Agent Lang's really sticks up for his people. Long Tzu says, all men are brothers and friends become family. So you see, my people are my family and their families are my family too. That's a large family you have there. Yes, but as we all know, there's always one black sheep in any family. And though it pains me, Agent Lang, you will know the black sheep in your family. So, do you actually have any proof that the YATAGARASU used the fireplace passageway? No, I haven't found any yet. Then what are we going to do? There's no need to worry. Because there is a loophole in this Interpol agent's argument we can exploit first. The one in charge of the Bobbly's investigation was not Agent Lang, which means that Agent Sheena is in charge. It's possible she may have tampered with the evidence. That piece of evidence that we found. If there's one thing I do know, it is that someone tried to hide it from us. Which one again? Let's see. Not sure which piece he's talking about. Let's see. Oh yeah, and this episode's called Turnabout Ablaze because the whole embassy was on fire, or different areas of it were on fire. There were like 2 big fires. Yeah.
That sounds lit.
Oh my god. It's hot fire, yeah. You're right. See, look, here's the information on it. Oh yeah, remember the Steel Samurai, by the way?
Yeah.
The Jammin' Ninja was like a knockoff show for it.
Oh.
And it's so funny because Edgeworth's actually a really hard Steel Samurai fan. It's so funny. You wouldn't expect him to be. I suppose we should just press on the other stuff first. In my eyes, all you've proved is that the rotating fireplace or wall was used. Hold it! It sounds to me like you're saying my explanation is not good enough. But I was able to go through the revolving door myself. So that should be proof enough even for you, pal. It looks like you don't quite understand. But by your looks, I can guess that you're not all that learned. Youch! Talk about rude. You should watch what you say, pal. Oh man, stop cutting up on Gumshoe. That's just wrong. Sadly, I can't say I disagree with her on that one. Oof!
That's a big wreck.
Yeah, feels bad. But you know what I mean, right? You may have proven that the fireplace was used. But you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu is the fireplace now, can you? Hold it! So you want to prove that the Yatagarasu was the one who used the fireplace? That's right. Well, do you have any? Hold it! Can you prove that it wasn't the Yatagarasu who used the fireplace? I don't need to prove anything to you. Objection! Hold it! Okay, if you could please not steal my lie. Sorry, but I just couldn't hold it anymore. Well, don't fret and leave it to me. All you have to do is sit back and watch. You may seem to have some wiggle room, but without any evidence, it's meaningless. So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer with real evidence. Hold it! It's possible that the Yatagarasu left fingerprints inside the fireplace. Hold it. Sorry, but I had the forensics team check that already. All they found were prints belonging to Ambassador Plano and Mr. Cochin. Curses! I should have known better than to think that the Yatagarasu would have been so careless. But there must be some sort of evidence that we still have yet to find. I take it that you have no further objections. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation. Hold it! So Interpol has finished examining the entire Babalese embassy? Yes, the investigators who weren't allowed into Alabaster were incredibly helpful. They all put in great efforts to search for any sign of the Yatagarasu. Objection! And yet, despite that effort, it appears that they failed to notice the lack of ash in the office fireplace. Furthermore, you were the one who inspected the room next to Mr. Cochin's, correct? I didn't notice the ash there in the fireplace of that room, and for that, I'm sorry. Hold it! You don't need to apologize, Sheena. As your boss, your mistakes are my mistakes. So allow me to apologize for you. I'm sorry. You know, maybe this guy's not such a bad guy after all. He apologizes for his subordinates and everything. What a great boss. Are you saying that I don't do anything for my own subordinates? No, nothing of the sort, sir. You're someone I really respect, sir, even if you are a bit too strict sometimes. That is only a problem on your end. Wow, way to be super hard on him in response. Am I really too strict on everyone? Anyway, Sheena, you didn't find anything in Mr. Cochin's office, right? That's right. We finished our investigation. And we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office. Did you find out when you're eating, Jake?
No, but I assume it's when my mom is.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Objection! While you say that you and your agents have finished your thorough investigation, are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything?
Okay.
Welcome back, Jake.
I found out a little bit, and I will be leaving extremely soon, so I will have to go.
Okay. Just let me know when you're back, alright?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. See you
in like an hour and a half then, Jake.
Yeah.
Or however long it
an
takes.
hour and a half. Yeah, I think that should be how long.
Okay, that's fair.
Awesome.
See you then,
I will
Jake.
see you then. See ya.
Let's do this. Are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything? Well, aren't we full of ourselves standing there insulting Interpol agents? You'd better not be insulting that my men, or insinuating that my men are incompetent, Mr. Prosecutor. I'd never do that. However, it doesn't change the fact that they did overlook something. I'd like for you to take a look at this length of wire. And what exactly is this supposed to mean? A length of wire? So what about it? I'll tell you what. We found this in the Babylonis embassy not long ago. What? And we found it wound up inside the grandfather clock in Mr. Cochin's office. You found that at the scene of Mr. Cochin's murder? But this wire wasn't all we found. We found one other very important thing. There's more. In Mr. Cochin's office, there were signs that someone had burned counterfeit bills there. That's insane. Ah! Hold it. That evidence was something you found out through that girl's machine, right? So what if it was? Ah, that's what I thought. But unfortunately for you, a recreation made by a machine is hardly concrete proof. Among the ashes you found in the room, did you happen to find any counterfeit bills? No. You see, so there was nothing in that office, nothing you can call evidence anyway. Objection! I'm sorry, but I seem to have given you the wrong impression. How so? I don't recall saying that I was presenting evidence of any sort, but rather I was pointing out that your investigation was incomplete, and that this throws doubt on the purity of your investigation of the YATAGARASU. You still suspect me, I see. Alright, then I ask that you point out what part of my investigation is incomplete. The other Interpol agents worked under the command of Agent Sheena, and is it not possible that the reason the person K was chasing chose the third floor was because that person knew there would be no other agents on that floor? Furthermore, we've come to see that Agent Sheena was only pretending to be investigating the YATAGARASU to the point of arresting K. In that case, there's one location that no one has yet to inspect. Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location. And take that! The location, Agent Sheena, is of course the room you claim to have examined. I believe the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough inspection. Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you there. I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir, I'm on it. I'll be right back after I check out that room next to the office. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you really think that Miss Sheena is the YATAGARASU? Yes, if my logic is sound, I believe she is. Then I'm not going to let her get away with ruining the name of the YATAGARASU. But can you prove that she's the YATAGARASU is the question? If Detective Gumshoe can find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to. And just what are you hoping he'll find? Let's just say this. I had Detective Gumshoe do a little experiment for me earlier. An experiment, as if that detective has the brains for high science. It wasn't that mentally taxing. I had him use the same escape route as the YATAGARASU. And what did you find out by doing that? First, that it's possible for a person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Babylonis ink. Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway. Ah, but is it really worth so little? I believe that it's actually quite a meaningful result, the value of which I'm about to prove. Mr. Edgeworth, I found some things you really need to see, sir. Oh, so what are these things that you found? Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir. You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Maybe it's the one the person I was chasing was wearing. Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Sheena, were these pieces of evidence not in that room when you examined it? Pfft, unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room. Thank you for bringing them to me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now? Hold it! These items that the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request that we be allowed to examine them. Hold it. They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission. Objection! I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation, but if you wish to deny us access to them, Agent Lang, let's hear your opinion on this. I say, let them look at your stuff, Sheena. Lang. Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. If you're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right? I guess so. Alright, go ahead and examine whatever you'd like. After all, I have nothing to hide. Good. Now let us begin. So which of Agent Sheeta's belongings are you going to examine, sir? Makeup. I believe I'll examine her makeup. What is this? It looks like a very thin paintbrush. It's a lip brush. It's for putting on my lipstick. Oh, I found something with a lot of weird powder inside, sir. That's just foundation powder in there. It's nothing to get fucked up over. Wow, you two sure know a lot about makeup. I think I need to confiscate them for a bit. Oh, I never knew makeup consisted of this stuff, too. I see. Ooh. She seems to be completely absorbed in her study of cosmetics. I guess there really wasn't anything suspicious in Agent Sheena's makeup. Oh, whoops. So if I hit enter, that does that. Interesting. I suppose not. Let us move on and examine something else. So which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to examine, sir? Coat. Let's examine the coat. Yes, sir. It appears you managed to stain your coat rather badly, Agent Sheena. The YATAGARASU'S that Kay saw was wearing a coat, and I'm beginning to wonder if this stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace. No, you have it wrong. That soot probably got on my coat when I was helping the police out with the fire, or put out the fire. And what about this dark substance around the hem of your coat? Oh, I didn't realize that the hem was dirty. I'm sure it's just some water mixed with soot from when I was helping with the fire. I don't think so. You think you can get away with such a transparent lie? Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. This is the same pattern of the dirt that got on my coat when I went through the fireplace. Hold it. Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know. So unless you can prove that the dirt on my coat is from the fireplace, which I can. But how? You did a great job, Detective Gumshoe. Huh? Me, sir? What did I do? This coat, this is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I had been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. And thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace was solely a coat. I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir. All that remains is for us to show that what the dark substance on the coat hem was. Oh, and you think you can do that? Of course I can. This is the dark substance that's solely the hem of this coat. Take that! Babley's ink? Yes, this is what yes, this is what will prove that the coat went through that fireplace. According to Ambassador Paleno, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning. You told us about that already, so I don't really see the point in mentioning it again. My point is that he spilled some ink onto the back wall of the fireplace at that time. If the dark substance on this coat turns out to be Babley's ink, it would prove that you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall. Sorry to have clipped one of your wings, Yatagarasu, but we're not finished yet. But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Babley's ink on the coat helm or him. Oh, but I do, and I intend to show that it is ink in a few seconds. How? How, you ask? Well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I will prove that this dark substance on the coat is Babley's ink. Burn the coat. We can find out whether that is Babley's ink or not by lighting it on fire. That's how you're going to prove that it's Babley's ink? Yes, if you could please cut a section of the dark, stained area from me, I'd appreciate it. Because I will show you, here and now, what the dark substance is. Sheena, sorry to do this, but I'm going to cut off a bit of your coat. Go ahead. I wasn't... No, Eric. God dang it. Fur science. Go ahead, I wasn't planning to wear it out anymore anyway. Now then, if someone could loan me a lighter or something. Oh, I've got some matches. I always carry them with me so I can light some smoke, or so I can light smoke bombs. Then if I could please have one, Kay, we can get this experiment underway. The flame? It's the same color as the flame's wood crystal oil produces, which means... Babley's ink is a product of wood crystal oil, and when lit the ink produces a green flame. I believe the time has come to clip the Yatagarasu's other wing. Miss Sheena, you're the fake Yatagarasu. The one who killed my father. It's about time you came clean, Agent Sheena. Or should I say, Callisto you. Hold it! Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, you're not serious, are you? Do I look like the joking type to you? Callisto you? I've never heard that name before in my life. That manner of speaking and that attitude, you haven't changed a bit in 7 years. You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday and then tried to frame me for it. Oh, really? And you have proof? You insist that I am this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it. If you have no proof, then I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me. Objection! The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies with the darkness of night. However, the light of dawn has arrived, and it will reveal your true ugly form to the world. Hold it. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do you really have something that can prove that she is Callisto you? I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years. Do me the honor, Mr. Edgeworth. I will, Kay, for we have finally come to the end. We'll prove her to be Callisto you with this, and clip this Yatagarasu's wings for good. Take that! This perfume, this will prove you to be Callisto you. It will? Oh, hey, Portland. Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely you remember this bottle? This belonged to Miss Yu just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well. This is that bottle of perfume you spilled, which I have preserved ever since. I heard from my father, Bern Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be conserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here, every last one. We can clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Sheena. Will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test? It looks like you've seen right through me yet again. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Mr. Edgeworth. Callisto, you. So you've shown your true face at last. This feeling of thrill, it's even greater than that time 7 years ago. Sheena, you're... Lang, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man. So you're a spy all along? A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after? Or after someone who has been feeding them intel on Interpol all this time? Very good. Maybe you're not as big of an idiot as I thought. Callisto, you. The woman who killed my father 7 years ago. You're her, aren't you? The fake YATAGARASU. That's right, Callisto, you. That's just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief YATAGARASU. Callisto, you, this time you won't escape, for this is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly. You know, you're the one who left the strongest impression on me, Kay Faraday. And had you not used the YATAGARASU'S gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are being a thorn in my side, just like your father always was. Kay, don't! You, I'll never forgive you for what you did to my father! You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday, too, possessed such laughable honesty. Kay! Oh, you let Kay go right now, pal! You despicable! Let go of me, filthy! You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real YATAGARASU. That's impossible! My father was the one who created Little Thief! Hey, Edgeworth. The YATAGARASU has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? Why it has 3 legs? There are 3 main reasons why the YATAGARASU will always be 1 step ahead. First, the YATAGARASU always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the YATAGARASU always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. No. It can't be! Did you finally figure it out? Do you finally know the real identity of the YATAGARASU? The real identity of the YATAGARASU is... neither person. The real identity of the YATAGARASU is neither Burn Faraday nor Callisto you, but by the same token they are also both the real YATAGARASU. How very perceptive of you. No way! The single person known as the great thief YATAGARASU never existed. Mr. Edgeworth, No! I refuse to believe this! The YATAGARASU is known to have 3 special skills. Skill number 1. The YATAGARASU always knows the exact location of the target object. And a lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2. The YATAGARASU always knows exactly how to disarm the security system, and a good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal. And skill number 3, the YATAGARASU doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. Detective Bad! It is only natural for the YATAGARASU to never leave evidence behind. Because the lead detective on the case hid it all away. You're the 3rd member of the YATAGARASU? You! I've been looking for you a long time. 7 long years, but I finally got you. Ah, why, Mr. Bad, long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team. If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago? Why, indeed. It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill. How could you say that? I grow weary of this, and it's about time for everything to come to an end. And this time, I won't miss. Stop! You! Kay! It's over, Sheena. Ah! Your leg! Agent Leg! You idiot! What were you thinking jumping in front of my gun like that? What were you risking your life for? I'm sorry, Detective Bat, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, or even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. And as long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her, not even from you. You really are an idiot, you know that? Ha! That's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just who I am. Hey, sis. Yes? I want you to conduct a full-body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her. Alright. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please. Sir. Sir. Hey, I found something. What is this, sir? It looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't look like a handle. But it doesn't have a handle. This is a great find, Detective. Huh? It is, sir. Let's try pulling this up this blade with this handle. Take that! I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon. Hey, they fit together perfectly. This blade must have been taken from the crime scene when the knife handles were switched. I'm going to return this Babbly's knife now. Alright, I trust that you'll make sure that it is returned to Ambassador Polano. Babbly's knife handle given to Detective Gumshoe. I believe this makes it perfectly clear who did it, Callisto. You, for the only time the handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must be Mr. Cochin's killer. You killed Mr. Cochin with the Alabastian knife, switched the handles, and then took the original blade of the Babbly's knife with you. Later you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, and then you went back to accuse her of the murder. Does that about sum it up? Objection. You craft an engaging tale, Mr. Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Okay, can I just say that the objection voice file for Callisto U is very strange? Am I the only one that thinks that? It sounds like a man. It doesn't sound like Callisto U at all, or like much less what I expected it to sound like. Like what? I'm not sure if you ever thought that, Portland, but you craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Problems? In what respect? Why do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? It was all so I could capture Kay Faraday. What? When I saw you using that device at Gatewaterland, I knew right away. I know, right? It's just the other voice files sound fine, like the other languages and just the other game ones, but this one just sounds weird. Hers does in particular. The English one anyway. That you were Byrne Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. That's how I found out that you were on the trail of the YATAGARASU. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me? Yes, I knew you would show up at this embassy tonight. So I thought to use you, but pinning the murder wasn't my only goal. You had another? Yes, once I had you under arrest, I had planned to search you, and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me, the true YATAGARASU. You were going to take little thief away from me? 7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he's still more than he should have. I had a tough time recovering that precious key. Then the person who stole the YATAGARASU'S key was Mr. Faraday? You, that incident 7 years ago, what was the catalyst behind it? In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the YATAGARASU was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment. Then why? Why did you become a member of the YATAGARASU? Why? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What is that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from has changed, or hasn't changed, even now to this day. Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? Then, the real ringleader is still out there pulling the strings. Are you done asking what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. And you're going to tell me everything you did tonight, do you understand, Sheena? I guess I should tell you then, that I was the one who set the Babyliss embassy on fire. And why did you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all evidence of the counterfeit bills. And was that the smuggling ring? And was what the smuggling ring was trying to do? Or that was what the smuggling ring was trying to do? But then, why start 2 fires? Sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation, after all. I've had my fun, now it's your turn to enjoy the ride. Wait! I mean, Miss Sheena. Yes? When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet. What about them? They're such pretty hair sticks that I thought, well, that I should return them to you. You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. If you don't want them, you can always just throw them away. No. I want to keep them. Suit yourself. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot Edgeworth. About the second problem I had with your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight. What? I'm not saying that as a sore loser, think of it as a hint, if you will. Mr. Prosecutor! Yes, Agent Lang? Mark my words, I'm not done here and I'll be back. And it's got nothing to do with duty or anything, because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be. His anger appears to have been negated, and have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. It's finally over, Kay. I feel like I've peered into my heart a little, you know? And it's so cold and dark and incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all these commands, the only one who thought my father was a problem to be removed. That person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring. Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favor to ask. Can you hold on to these hair sticks for me? They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the Gem Ninja show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome. I understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There is a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Hair sticks data jotted down my organizer. Oh, I guess it's that time already, huh? So it's midnight. The dawn of another day. Hey, Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone in all these years. Detective Bad, don't tell me today is the day. Yeah, it is. With this, I can retire in peace. It was down to the wire, and we almost didn't make it. Get it like wire, like the wires von the grandfather clock. But we did it. We solved everything. But that's just it. We haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring, the YATAGARASU, were chasing after. The legend of the YATAGARASU is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, that bit of logic earlier, it was brilliant. I feel like I can leave it all in your hands. I'm counting on you.
Is it really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also a part of the Yatagarasu?
As I said to you earlier, Kay, I'm truly sorry. I'm truly sorry. I wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you.
Uncle Bad.
Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right?
Unfortunately, it isn't.
Oh, come on, sir. She's just yanking my chain, isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth? Detective Bad. Wait, no, you are no longer a detective.
Mr. Bad, I'd like to ask you about the Yatagarasu.
Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, here I should give these back to you.
These are the pages from my KG8 incident case files that the Yatagarasu stole from my office.
Huh? Wait, what? Mr. Edgeworth, I must apologize for last night. Oh, that's right, I forgot about this. So the autographs who stole into my room was you, wasn't, or was it? Wait, then that means... What? Tell me it's not true. That's too insane for me to believe, sir. It's true, even if it's not something you want to hear. The KG8 incident is a very emotional, trying case. We stood in that courtroom, Faraday as the prosecutor and I as the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant was found innocent. You was the elder sister of the victim in the case. When the defendant was pronounced not guilty, she let out a great wail. That's when we realized that there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what they thought at the time. That's how we formed the YATAGARASU, and vowed to bring to light any dirty dealings companies had with the ring, including companies that dealt with the Amano Group.
Mr. Amano's conglomerate?
We called ourselves the YATAGARASU and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings as a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop the higher-ups from covering things up. And then it was finally time. We had finally arrived at the moment when we'd find out the ringleader's true identity. It was then that you literally stabbed us in the heart, and Faraday, he died for it.
But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim of the KG8 incident?
After Faraday's death, I looked into her past, and that's when I found out that she was a phony. The victim of the KG8 incident, CCU, she never had a sister.
What? That means...
Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callista Yu is also another pseudonym. From the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring.
She said it herself. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning.
Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, this trump card that we stuck onto this page of the case file. Please use it wisely.
Trump card?
That photo that we stuck on there, try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago.
It's the mark of the YATAGARASU, but why?
This is a directives card from the big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Cochin had on him at the time of the KG8 incident 10 years ago. blood is from the victim of the incident, Miss CCU.
But why is the card adorned with the mark of the YATAGARASU?
The reason why we called ourselves the YATAGARASU was because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently orders from the boss would come on these cards without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently it burns a bright green flame when set ablaze.
So you mean the cards were written in Babley's ink?
The fact that the card that Cochin was sent made it into Faraday's hand at all is nothing short of a miracle. We decided that whenever we stole anything, we would send a card along with it to the police.
So that's why those white cards... So that's what those white cards are.
The great thief that used the mark that only those within the ring would know. It is our message to the ringleader that we are only a few steps behind.
Trump card jotted down on my organizer.
And one more thing, Detective Gumshoe. I'm entrusting this to you.
What is this, sir?
This is what I was talking about earlier. During the KG8 incident trial, Faraday had this in his possession. This important, definitive piece of evidence.
But I thought it was stolen. How do you have it?
The person who stole it from us 10 years ago was a man by the name of Ernest Amano. And he had it locked and hidden away for all this time. But we forced him to tell us where it was finally after the other day's kidnapping case.
Videotape data jotted down my organizer. This video... Oh, everything's coming together. Right.
What? Don't come any closer, I'm warning you!
This is the same video as the one Mr. Portsmouth was trying to conceal from me.
Yeah, it would seem that even he was caught up in the ring's web. Amano was preparing to take on the boss someday, and the video was his insurance. That's where that prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office and steal the trump card. You saw it for yourself, right? The card that told him to preserve the evidence.
Then that card was not the calling card of the YATAGARASU, but rather a directives card from the ringleader of Mr. Portsmouth.
The two pieces together make for a strong weapon for whoever holds them.
The evidence Mr. Portsmouth thought to withhold from me, and the one that you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, and for me to use either one is...
Whether you use them or not is up to you, but they will be of help to you when you take on someone who is above the law.
Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of? Detective Bad, there is no limit to the law, for it is the people who determine the limits to them.
You still insist that even now? You really are something else. I leave the rest in your hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, the handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the YATAGARASU.
Pops.
Don't ever lose your detective spirit.
Pops, why is this happening? This isn't justice.
Like I always told you, do not get emotionally involved. Now let's go.
Yes, sir. Is this really the end of a legend? To be continued. Save, yes. March 14th,
12:07 a.m. The Atrium Neutralis lobby. So now we know who the YATAGARASU really was, and yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons crossed country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, huh? We will need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Unnecessary evidence has been removed. Remaining evidence has been rearranged. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir. Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KG8 incident hidden from the site for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir. This man, it's Manny Cochin. And he's holding a knife in his hand. This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG8 incident. Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG8 incident. And the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance of the victim's own apartment building. At the end of the trial, Mr. Faraday claims that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yet somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amando. I can see how this would have been a definitive piece and why someone would want to hide it. But it's a piece of evidence for a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir. Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsman to retrieve it, which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage of the ringleader. Where? Wait, what was that? Huh? That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again. This car. This is something we cannot overlook. Why is that, sir? Look here, Detective Gumshoe. Take that! Take that! Oh, never mind. Don't you find this section to be particularly of interest? I don't see anything at all. Oh, are you talking about that thing, sir? I've heard that you can capture ghosts on film. Is that what it is, sir? So, where's it in this picture, sir? That's quite enough. How could we have mistaken this for an apparition? Look here, Detective Gumshoe. Take that! Oh yes, the flag. This is the national flag of the Principality of Cadopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was the government car doing there?
Ah, Miss Van Carmen, Mr. Edgeworth, so you were here all this time.
Ambassador Alba, thank you very much for
Thank you very much for continuing the investigation even at this time of night. If only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I'm truly sorry.
This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were.
You idiot, Quirkus! You can't say that, I simply did! Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that?
Excuse me?
I heard you've apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down, and we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away, so I hope that you can understand how I feel.
But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues.
Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Babalese police?
Ambassador, we are so close. Just a little more and...
Miss Von Karm, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right?
That's true, however... As I said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil. In which case we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends?
You still there, Portland? Hold it! Shifu, we found Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Shifu, this way. Yo.
Agent Lang, you're back on the scene rather quickly.
If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor.
Agent Lane, why have you returned?
Because I have to solve this case no matter what.
Well, I'm sorry to inform you, but don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable.
Okay, good. I was just checking. Sorry.
At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close. Not so fast!
Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do.
Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel.
No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder.
You... No... The... killer?
Do you really mean that, Agent Lane?
Huh, wolves don't lie.
Then who is it?
Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Long Tzu says the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Demas II's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you, Franziska von Karma.
I was the killer? Hey, wait, but that's impossible.
Yeah. Although, that whip is actually quite...
Oh, hold your tongue in that ludicrous remark you were about to make.
Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Yeah, I'm glad too. Speaking of which, how far are your investigations too? Yeah, I am. He doesn't appear to be joking. Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right?
Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything? With anything? Anything?
I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabasta and Babal, did you not?
Objection! And where's your evidence I am the killer?
Not so fast! I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission?
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
Ooh, case 3 is like the catalyst for literally the entire Phoenix Wright story. Just gonna say that right now. It's that's I wouldn't really say it's spoilers, but it's that impactful of a case, just by the way. Then again, that's like saying Trials and Tribulations' first case is also really impactful because Phoenix was a defendant. Yeah, I am actually serious. Like, not even joking. It might take you for a little bit to realize that, but yeah, the second one has all enjoyable cases, I felt like. It might take you a bit to realize how everything was caused by it. In Phoenix Wright's story, anyway. Not Apollo Justice's, but, well, you could argue Apollo Justice's like butterfly effect, but yeah, if you look at it, Phoenix Wright's story would not have happened without that third episode.
With things...
Oh yeah, are you still enjoying the voices, by the way? Because I think I don't think I've been doing them I've been trying to do them the same, but I'm just kind of tired, so they're a little off, I feel like.
With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I?
Good, let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that.
As if I would have any reason to flee. But just first so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset, not that I blame her.
I expected that you'd accept no less. Yeah. Alba just seems so old that he would like slur his stuff together just because, I don't know. Because his face is like, it looks like it's cracking, it's like that old. But yeah, you're right. Also, I feel like it makes him seem more innocent and not necessarily dumb, but... Like, the judges is like, ooh, what the flip is going on here? But then, yeah. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose if you're stuck up in the air like that.
Hold it! Agent Lang. Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part.
And so that I may clean up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery.
Oh, in that case I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabast yet. If you let Kay in, then you've got to let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble.
Oh, I definitely will. Yeah, don't worry about that. Might be similar to Manfred Von Karma's voice. If you wanna reference and see how that is like. Oh wait, no, you've heard that a little bit because you appeared in this game. Never mind.
Hey, Gummy, let's have a contest to see who can save her first, okay?
Okay, I'll take you up on that. Okay, I'm fired up and raring to go. As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over. Sounds like this is going to get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride.
Very well, but I'd like you to keep an eye in mind that this will be your last chance.
Huh. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go. March 15th, 12:53 a.m. Alabastian Embassy, Ambassador's Office. Okay, now let's first go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babal. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then the body of Demask II, Mr. Kashino, was found here in the Alabastian Ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this Primadux statue, and that this is actually Babal's statue. This case, no matter how I look at it... Sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off. The cameo appearance of who? Who are you thinking in specific? Or specifically? Let me think, I'm trying to... Oh! Yeah, like the first chronological defendant. Frank saw it, right? Yeah. It was very nice. A very nice touch.
Objection! Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying?
Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring. You wanted any evidence you could find. And so, while people were distracted by the YATAGARASU'S appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire.
Objection! Even if I was at virtual, how do you explain the movement of the weapons?
Huh. Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across both your country lines. Hey now. Look, sis, I thought I already told you I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring.
He is right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous circus over this already. Franziska, you need to calm down, because you only know the facts of the Alabashtian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole and therefore solve it. That? But don't worry, I am taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence.
That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well.
Of course, and I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Dimas II. You do understand, don't you, Mazat First? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Dimas II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do.
Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started.
Yes, let's.
Testimony border crossing weapons. One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin.
Ugh, 1 second.
I'm back, sorry. And the murder weapon and the killing of Dimas II is Babal's Primadux statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who transversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you.
So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisco will remain a suspect?
You got it, Mr. Prosecutor, so why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've worked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss.
Agent Lang, What I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself.
What are you talking about?
By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth.
Don't tell me Long Tzu never said anything to that effect. Never. You prosecutor, who do you think you are speaking about Long Tzu's proverbs like that?
I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you will need to see the truth.
Rebuttal. Border crossing weapons. It's been quite a while since we saved state. Let's do that right now. Wait, the last time we saved state was 6 days ago. That would be a good idea. And the murder weapon and the killing of Demas II is Babal's Permadex statue. Hold it!
So you're saying that the Permadex statue was also brought over by Franziska?
Like I told you before, that's the only way it makes sense.
Hold it! And how exactly did she bring it over?
I haven't figured that out yet.
That's a rather weak statement, considering how sure you are.
Maybe, but there is one thing I do know for sure. Wait. Isn't it? And the murder weapon in the killing of Demas II is Babal's Permadex statue. Objection!
Oh, wait. I thought about the switching and the fake actually being Babal's. Oops. Agent Lang, if you could please take a look at this piece of evidence. You'd see that there is a very big flaw in your logic.
Flaw? Are you sure it's not your eyes that are flawed? Talk to me again when you can see straight.
Maybe this wasn't the piece I was looking for after all.
And the murder weapon and the killing of Demas II is Babal's Permadex statue. Oh wait, I forgot there's 2 Permadex statues.
Objection! What the... Agent Lang, about this piece of evidence.
Not so fast! Long Tzu says, confidence is like a soul in words. Words without confidence are but empty shells. You shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Mr. Prosecutor. Although it's just as bad to say something in full confidence and be wrong.
God. Are you going to let him lecture you about your self-confidence like that? I don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence, I just need to think rationally. After all, I only need to be confident in the facts.
It's been a while, so just cut me a little slack here. Somehow, these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries' impenetrable security.
Hold it! Impenetrable? I should hardly think so.
Not so fast! You've seen the top of the wall right between the 2 countries, right? Who in the world would cross over that?
Yeah, not even I could climb over that thing with all that barbed wire.
The only way into either embassy is through the doors in the Theatrum Neutralis. So the only way for the knife and the Permadex statue to traverse the 2 countries is through those security camera-equipped, well-guarded doors. The only one who traversed the 2 countries just before and after the crimes was you. Hold it!
Was Franziska really the only person to have traveled between the 2 countries?
According to the guards at both doors, she is the only one to go back and forth. The sis there was in Alabast when the YATAGARASU showed. And then just before you guys found Mr. Cochin's body, she entered Babal. I think we can assume that when she brought the knife into Babal. Objection!
Then how do you explain the Primadux statue?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. However, the fact that the two weapons crossed the border proves that the killer must also have traveled across these country lines.
The only things to cross the border are the Primadux statue and the knife? I should hardly think that those are the only two items, Agent Lang.
Objection!
Never mind. Agent Lang, if you could please take a look at this evidence, you'd see that there's a very big flaw in your logic.
Flaw? Are you sure it's not your eyes that are flawed? Talk to me again when you can see straight.
Maybe this wasn't the piece I was looking for after all.
Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin.
Hold it! I concur that this knife crossed over country lines.
Good, but that's not the only thing that did. We mustn't forget about the other weapon. The knife was the only one.
Let's think here.
Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security.
Perhaps it's then...
Objection!
Oh my gosh, I am so rusty. Agent Lang, about this piece of evidence.
Not so fast! Long Zhe says, confidence is like a soul, and words without confidence are but empty shells. You shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Mr. Prosecutor. Although it's just as bad to say something in full confidence and be wrong.
Are you going to let him lecture you about your self-confidence like that? I don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence, I just need to think rationally. After all, I only need to be confident in the facts. The only things to cross the border are the Primadux statue and the knife? I should hardly think that there's that those are the only 2 items, Agent Lang. That's what I'm trying to think of. Let's see, the third, another item that was transported across. I suppose we can do a little sort of cross-elimination here. It's definitely not this. Not the embassy guide. Oh wait. I've got it now. Somehow these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries' impenetrable security. Objection! What? I was going to reason that the body was also removed because he wasn't burned by the fire. That statement just now stands in contradiction to this piece of evidence. That thing has nothing to do with what I was saying. Now put it away. And your logic is so badly in need of repair that you might as well throw it out too. This is the real deal here. Your courtroom mannerisms are worthless at a crime scene. You dare to insult the courts? Somehow these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries' impenetrable security. Hold it! Impenetrable? I should hardly think so. Not so fast! You've seen the top of the wall between the 2 countries, right? Who in the world would cross over that? Yeah, not even I would climb over that thing with all that barbed wire. The only way into either embassy is through the doors in the Theatrum Neutralis. So the only way for the knife and the Primadox statue to traverse the 2 countries is through those security camera equipped, well guarded doors. Somehow these 2 objects were able to penetrate the 2 countries' impenetrable security. Objection! No. We know that I'm tired of getting it wrong. I still don't understand why it's... Let's think calmly through this. This is a fact.
Somehow these two objects are able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security.
Objection!
Nope. I don't know how I'm having so much trouble with this. I just can't remember. I can't. Let's see. None of us just. Yeah. Well, the one in Bowl, but yes. Yeah, I remember this part was really hard the first time I played it too. I just can't remember, it's been so long. I had almost 75% health. Now 1 hit left, so I have to really be careful here. I don't want to have to load state, but I remember like the events following this one. Like I know the whole process, but the only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. I know that's what I'm doing now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like I remember it having to be something with the body because his body doesn't have any burns, which suggests that it was moved. But that didn't seem to work. Would it be the... The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. Oh, wait. This is taken after the first fire on the... Objection! Nope. Guess we're gonna have to load save state. This is embarrassing. Sorry. I just can't seem to remember. Like, I know the idea. I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, for everyone else, but I know what the answer is. I just don't remember the specific part. Technically, if we think about it, this statement is just flat out wrong, because it was actually not Babal's primitive statue. Yet it was Alabast's primitive statue. Like, actually, it says this was used as a weapon, and it's Alabast's primitive statue. But and then what's weird to me is that this knife still has the text "was carried across country lines." I remember this. There's a striking flower ornament on the handle of this knife. Compared to the Babalese knife's handle, this larger one gives Alabast more presence.
The handle on this knife was made to be removable. The killer tried to make this look like a Babyliss knife by switching the two handles, which means that there must be some reason behind that action. There is quite a bit of Mr. Cochin's blood on this blade. Thanks to being a prosecutor, I guess I've become accustomed to seeing blood. It feels super bad to die in these games because it feels like it's over, but I like to think that they get a second chance, even though it's like a rewinding time, but I like to think that they argued for a second chance. I don't know, it just makes me feel better, I guess. Let's see, let's fact check here. So he's saying the knife killed Mr. Cochin. Correct. The murder of this is iffy, but apparently it's not right. These two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. I think that's correct, but I think the fact is that there's more than one thing that actually swapped. Man, it seems like Edgeworth and Phoenix always know the answers to these cross-examinations. It's like, then why don't you frickin' just do it then? I mean, it's not like anyone's life is on the line or anything. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I get it. Yes, I think I get it. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. Objection! Dang it, I had it like... I was trying to say it the whole time. I was trying to say like the statues swapped. They swapped. Oh, just some... God dang it. Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? Like I presented multiple pieces of evidence about the... Dimas II was killed with Babal's Primaduck statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's Primaduck statue go? To Babal! Precisely, and if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point, which means that a total of three items were smuggled across the embassies. I know, right? However, when the music keeps playing in your health flashes, it's like, hot. Also, what does this point really prove? If you look at it initially, oh no, there were 3, not 2 items. Like, I know it leads to something later, but initially it's like, alright, that doesn't really disprove my case here. I guess so, but you know what? Yep, here. It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabasta and Babal is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person, one who paid a visit to both sides of the wall. I was gonna say Larry too, but... because Larry did. Objection! Is that really so, Agent Lang? Ha 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 ha! What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guard said along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily. Objection? But suppose there was some other way other than through the theater doors. What other way? The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I point it out, it would open up a new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. It looks like you've got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. I remember in the 5th and final episode of Edgeworth 2, and just in some of the other ones, some of the logic was actually harder. And some of the eurekas were harder too, like finding the contradictions at the crime scene. Those were harder than, or like some hard points that I did not expect to be hard from the game, if that makes any sense. Like,
one time I was playing with my mom and dad, and we were stuck on this one logic piece in the final case, and it was one of the first ones. Like, you get like 6 pieces of information, you can't combine like any of them except for like one, and then it starts the whole domino chain, and you can finally get into it. But that first one, we were like trying to logic our way through it, because multiple things make sense. It's just there's one that makes more sense, I suppose. And my dad was like, well, why don't you try this? And we tried it, and finally we did it. We had to load save like 4 times, because I think I saved when we had like 1 health. Anyway. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the 2 countries. Take that! Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo. And this is what I was trying to present earlier, if you noticed. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait. Not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is... Take that! Oh, wait, no, that's not it. I thought maybe his body was transported. This is the face behind the shadow. Not so fast! I thought I said that you'd better have a good explanation. I can't make heads or tails of what you're trying to say with that. What is... you can't make heads or tails? Does that mean you can't think of even 2 things to come up with that they're trying to say? Is that what's going on? Was I wrong? This is so embarrassing. Come on, hurry up and show me what that shadow that's flying through the air is. Even had you not barked at me, I would have gladly done so, Agent Lang. I need to go over it one more time. The man-shaped shadow that flew across the air, wrapped in the darkness of the night. Its real shape can only be this one thing. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is... No, not that. Man, it's all like a blur from this part for some reason. Take that! This is the face behind the shadow. Not so fast! Okay. Let's hear it. The face the face hidden within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is Take that! Oh, I just had the wrong statue. Oh, what am I doing? Naturally, the shadow is the 3rd smuggled object, the Pundak statue replica.
You can't be serious. The Yatagarasu, or rather, Callisto, you dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside the ball. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Not so fast!
Ha! Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation.
I know I did.
She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that?
He is literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. I mean, how exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Did you have to load any states, by the way, during any... Or, I mean, do you have any memories of any times that you've died in any of these games, Portland? Because I know I have. Yeah, they say it's scumming, but like... I don't know. Save states can be used poorly, too. Like, you can... It's actually really funny. You can actually trap yourself. Like, sometimes... Like, especially, like, if you remember in the first game, Dee Vasquez, when she's like... Well, what was the motive then? And if you say here's the evidence, and you save there, you're dead. And if you... save there and you have 1 health left, you're dead because there is no motive, so that no evidence will work. I remember presenting every single piece of evidence in that thing. That was one of the hardest things in the first game, or like especially in that case. Especially, I was not expecting that. Like, they really turned the logic on. Like, it makes sense, but they really turned the puzzle on you. It was like a really good gotcha puzzle because it's like, oh, you could say the photo, you could say. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember all the evidence, but you could have said a lot of things, but it's really because it was in self-defense. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask Portland, did you get the Justice for All finale right the first time, when you only had one thing? Oh, really? Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, in the trilogy revised too. It doesn't it put you back into the testimony like it does in the newer ones too. Ah, that sucks. I'm sorry. I didn't know at first, but then my mom's like, we've been playing for a while, so we're gonna take a break. So I was like, okay. This is freshman year. I was like in art drawing class, first period. I was like, what could it be? And I was like, for some reason the video tape jumped out at me. I'm like, wait a minute. I think I didn't have the right logic though. I think I was like thinking something like, well, wait, the assassin tried to get the videotape back and he failed to do so, so let's show it to him, because I can't remember what I thought, but I don't think I had the exact right logic. I was just like, let's show I don't know. Because, well, they kind of go out of their way to well, and the thing is, that's one of the most vague one, well, not vague, but like that's one of the puzzles that you can actually mess up the most with answering unique things, because there's so many possibilities. Same. But like, if you notice, if you look at all 3 pieces of evidence when Franziska was like, objection, the game kind of goes out of their way to say that, 1, the pistol's not going to be useful because they know he shot Franziska with it. 2, the bellboy uniform is not going to be useful. Like, maybe the button, but that's gone. But like, what will that do? So it's like the videotape is this mysterious thing. I'm like, I don't know. I was so happy to get it right the first time. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying like what it was, my experience was. But yeah, some of the games are really hard. Like the finale in Trials and Tribulations, I knew that kind of too, but that's only because I kind of suspected that if
Godot really was the killer, then there really was only one place he could have hidden it. But yeah, I don't like it how people are like, oh, the newer games like Dual Destiny and the revamp of the trilogy and Spirit of Justice, they're making them too easy, you know, like they're so predictable. Some are, but that's only because they've done the thing in the past, which you really run out of ideas once you take the series so long. But Capcom has done remarkably well to keep having new content and good enough twists and stuff like that in cases and ideas. I don't know how they do it. The writers are amazing. They're like one of the best writing teams I've ever seen, not even lying, like honestly, making such an interconnected world. But I feel like Dual Destiny still had some hard parts, like some of the fourth and fifth case was hard, I think. Oh yeah, and some of the second case was hard too, because the whole case was like, what is happening? And I think the DLC case was maybe had some weird stuff. All of them have hard parts, and then Spirit of Justice. Some of the divination seances were pretty hard. Especially that final one. You're talking about for Dual Destinies, right? Well, yeah, because each case okay, I'm not gonna lie, one of the hardest ones for me was actually the first contradiction, just like at the time, because, maybe not one of the hardest, but like it took me, my mom, we were looking at it, was just us, we were like, yeah, like there's so much to do with the divination seances. But the first contradiction, it's so obvious, but it's like, it takes you that while to, I'm not sure about you, but it took us that while to really get the grasp for what they were looking for and the contradictions and understand how the game is played. Because finding that first thing, like looking in the little description of the, the blackout or the autopsy and saying, oh, they died at this, and he's saying they died at this, he found the body at this time. Like, it's so obvious, but like, you kind of need to get in the Ace Attorney style of looking. Like, you need to get your mind in the right mindset. It's interesting. Anyway. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Albaboy went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? So, just before the murder, Francisco was called here, right into this very room. Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate you, Portland, for understanding my position. Because I'm sure some people are like, what are you talking about? Frank Saw was the easiest witness to take down, yeet, or something like that. If that's the case, then that may be another venue I can pursue. And just for some reason my mind went to this, Trials and Tribulations, I really liked, just like, they did a lot of things differently. First of all, it was the first game that you played in the past. And second of all, it was the first game where it featured you playing as other characters other than Phoenix Wright. Except for technically Justice for All at the end when you do the Edgeworth Francisco thing in the airport, and the good ending. Or, well, whatever you want to call it. But, and also, it was nice to, got me thinking about the first witnesses in each game. It's a nice little breath of fresh air to see that the first witness in Trials and Tribulations, Daily Hawthorne, is actually the main antagonist of the game, and she appears multiple times. This is kind of interesting. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. Oh, that's right! You're right. I totally forgot that for a brief moment. Thank you. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, you do. And it's that reason that you win, because she does the whole... Well, wait. Yeah, I think she does. She sends the... She does something. She writes the message, or something like that, and she in the background of the phone, she like breaks or Shelly the Killer's attention. The dog barks, and they know it's something like that. And I think in the anime, she sent the disc out, so they were able to get it. Maybe no, not the VHS, but she did something. I know that for sure. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer? Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth?
How dare you? As I said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I'm the killer. Miles, at first, don't tell me you suspect me too.
I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time, which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. I feel like she did do something though, like let's think about this. She broke out of the room, she looked around, oh, you know what, remember what she did, she called upon Mia and wrote her the note or whatever, and described her situation, and then Mia relayed information to Detective Gumshoe on the whereabouts. And what she also did was... Did she put the bear figurine outside of the doggy door? Because there's that bear figurine on the ground. I know! I totally thought that too. I totally have been thinking about that whole time. I think maybe what she meant was like, the next time I meet you in court, I will give... Oh, 1 second. Cam back. Yeah, no, totally. It must be like the next time they meet in court, because she made a vow, and I don't think Franziska von Karma is the kind of person to not keep her vow like that, especially one like that. But that would be interesting. And also, there are hints in Spirit of Justice that there's going to be a third Ace Attorney Investigations. So, that would be awesome. And if that was on the 3DS and 3D with all the new animation style, that would be awesome! Fabulous! I think Edgeworth said something to Franziska like, I think Edgeworth said to Emma Skye something like, I'll look forward to our next investigation together, or something like that. It's like, ooh. Because I could totally see, because Dual Destinies did a lot of that 3D investigation stuff, I could see that totally coming in to play with Kay coming back, 3D, Ray coming back would be awesome. Sebastian, Courtney, Agent Lang, Franziska von Karma, my favorite. Everyone. Maybe another Edgeworth flashback with his dad. Or... Oh, it'd be so cool if maybe, like, Maya or Pearl or something, like, happened upon, like, as traveled into his third Ace Attorney Investigations game, and she channeled Gregory Edgeworth's spirit. That'd be so awesome. There'd be something like that, and there could be so many cool things, and, like, the Eureka's in 3D, the Little Thief in 3D. Ah, it'd be so cool. The hint in Spirit of Justice is, like I said, maybe I wasn't clear enough, because it was like really brief, but Edgeworth said something to Emma Skye, something like, he said, I'll look forward to our next investigation together at the end of the game. And yes, I love Sebastian so much. Once you finish it, and during Christmas break when I do the stream for it, or the playthrough through Stream Investigations 2, I think you might like my voice for him. I don't know, I just feel like it's fun. I don't know, I actually take pride in the voice I did for him a little bit, because it kind of matches his voice file. And I feel like it just matches his, like, naivety and stuff like that. Yeah, that was so fun. Like, the very first time doing it, too, is like, oh, this is so cool. And it doesn't get old, either, because the scenes change and stuff like that. It's nice. Yeah, for sure. Wait, what do you mean by intimidating, actually? The scenes? The crime scenes? Franziska, I feel that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and if it got localized, of course. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no! As you wish. Testimony for movements now best. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Albert to his office. Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. Rebuttal movements now best. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. Okay. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office. Hold it! So you were at the theater as well? Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show? Well, yes. Sir Francisco was there. Well, after the show was over and I saw the steel samurai off. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Albert to his office. Hold it! At that time, Demaski II's body had yet to be found in this room, is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Albert was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Albert was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants.
Ah, I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office.
Grr. Alright then, add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Albert was in this room at the time, was he? Was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Albert was watching the flowers on the windowsill.
When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it! For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on the side, however the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing, isn't that not correct? Is that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him, but fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me. With a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right?
I suppose.
After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children.
The passion flowers and the flower box and the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All four of them are in full bloom.
Miss Von Karma, what did you just say? What did you just say now? What did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers and 4 bloom in the flower box.
No, there's only 2. Good thing we looked at that extensively. Objection! Franziska, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
No. It's essential to reach the truth. You've got to eliminate all other... everything else, and then the truth will remain, as said by Godot, quoting Sir Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes. The Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir.
All I've done is state what I saw. I have made not a single mistake in my testimony, and for this I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really of that important at this juncture, Miles?
At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. Dang it. I was just trying to look up a word from this game that he just said, but I skipped it. Now I can't remember. What were they just saying? I'll keep going on what's in the video and then try to figure it out. Oh, it's gonna bother me though. Wait, I wonder if there's a way where I can go into... and... dang it, there's no way you can go back. And you can't... alright. At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Ha! Now let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy.
They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I understand. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Well, first off... this patch of soil looks as though it has had something removed from it. Huh? What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here, waiting for an explanation, you know. Did you know, Agent Lang? The flowers are best appreciated in silence. It looks like two things were pulled out of this flower box. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supporters. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only two here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. May is it first? Hurry up and shut this man up for me already. I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? Show evidence. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. Your current plight. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. Take that! Sheena, who is supposedly imbibed the entire time, had these hair sticks on her. That look exactly like the plant supporters in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks to the passion flowers. Huh, and so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we've found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Ah! Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in alabaster. But somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babul the whole night.
So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue.
Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal.
How did these support sticks find their way to Babal and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha, so that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape.
It's just another stick, isn't it?
And so it is, but the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is... Take that! Eureka!
That's a crossbow! Wait, you're not really suggesting...
I am. These hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows. I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. And even using the arrows, how does this explain how these statues were transported? Furthermore, who could have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together.
Not so fast! Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. Argument, border crossing, part 2. So Babal's statue was draped in the YATAGARASU'S clothes and then shot over there? Over here? Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with a statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell you that the Primiduck statues didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you?
The Primiduck statues didn't sprout wings. Of course they didn't.
Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact.
It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation.
What?
You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Primiduck statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you.
Rebuttal. Border crossing, part 2. One second. sorry. I was making strawberry milk for my little brother, Gray. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with a statue tied to them. Hold! What am I doing? Hold it! But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct? But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Okay, Portland. I'll keep going and wait till you get... and then you'll be back, because... yeah. I'll catch you up. Or, well, you've already put some in. Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing. No, that's not necessarily true. What? What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions, it's the launching of my conclusions. What they should have wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statue themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. If it wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, then what did the crossbow launch? Objection! Finally. Finally we have reached this point in our discussion, for I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow. Ha, I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you are trying to say. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Coton's office. All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastion Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Bobolese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, I can see how Alabast's Permadex statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statue down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babal's Permadex statue? The dark shadow in this photo is clearly flying away from Babal. Going in the opposite way of gravity from the 3rd floor of the Bobolese Embassy up to the 5th floor of the Alabastion Embassy. How do you explain that? Aha, I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick works. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick, I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head. Motion? What motion? This is the motion that was employed to smuggle Babal's Permadex statue. Rotary motion. I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the two statues were transported simultaneously... Not so fast! Simultaneously? Get real. The statues would collide somewhere along the way. Objection! Did I ever say that there was only one line of wire between the two offices? If you shot an arrow with the two ends of a wire tied to it, a circular belt can be formed. Not so fast! Long Zhe says, don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability. Taking into account the tension difference between the two wires. The top one would sag too much to the point where the statues would collide anyway. Objection! Agent Lang, as you know, the Permadex statue is one of a kind national treasure. In the fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible. Long Zhe says, how?
Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in the two different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the two ends of the wire down on one arrow. Then the two of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to the ball where it was to be disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock, QED. Guess I just don't know what QED means. You know, it's something new every day. Ha! This proves it, right, Agent Lang? Right, Agent Lang? That I'm not the killer.
Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor?
The proof is in the pudding, as it were.
Pudding is a nice dessert. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir.
I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I've laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence.
One more? This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor.
The thing that made it possible to create a circular belt out of a length of wire, I believe that it is right here in this very room. Hello again, Tade. Now then, I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible. Take that!
Huh, looks like you dropped another bomb on us again.
The last piece to the trick. To pulleys. Precisely. The ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. And thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypass the impenetrable security.
You really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know who the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show is, don't you?
The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabashton and Barbalese offices. And that the passion flowers as support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case.
Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food.
Why are you so hesitant, my adverse? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do? A single point of the finger here on this case will explode into an international incident. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now but to rush in. There's a piece of evidence that will prove us to... or point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. Let's think about this here. Oh. Take that! And this is it. Oh wait, no, we shouldn't have presented it. No. Not so fast!
Where's my real dessert? How long do you intend to keep it from me? That piece of evidence isn't satisfying at all.
Then stop being so picky with your food. The person who concocted the trick used to smuggle these statues. I should already have the piece of evidence that shows who that is. I just have to present it, no matter what the cost. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. Oh, of course. Take that! I thought that, but I forgot it was in evidence.
Or, I thought that, but I forgot it was in evidence, honestly. Well, I forgot that fact that it said that Albus takes care of. Anyway, Ambassador Albus.
This smuggling could not have been possible without the use of the crossbow. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had the time to grow so big that Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited this room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both officers had ceiling fans tells us that the person has very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care.
Thus it can only be you, Quercus Alba.
Are you out of your mind, Maltitfus? I'm certain of what I'm saying, and I'm sure that he is the culprit.
Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that?
I understand your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd.
Just one thing, huh?
The one single end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we will finally find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. Take that!
You want us to examine this?
Yes, for I believe that by examining we will finally have all of our answers.
Not so fast! Long Tzu says items that become evidence should never have any part overlooked. All evidence relating to this case are fine and don't need to be examined again.
No. It would appear that I was mistaken. Agent Lang is correct. Most of the evidence has already undergone intense scrutiny. However, there is one piece that has only been partially checked, and that piece which lies at the heart of the smuggling is what I should present.
Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. So the developers, or the writers, knew that that would be a common answer, apparently, because they had a whole set, I believe, for that. Like a whole dialogue for that.
Take that! Not so fast!
Perhaps not. Oh, wait. This pick has been kind of weird.
Take that!
No, never mind.
Not so fast!
There's one. Oh, welcome back, Portland. I'm glad you had dinner. What'd you have? Perhaps these.
Take that!
No.
Not so fast!
Nice. Sounds good. I suppose we have to save state, unfortunately. I suppose we have to save state, unfortunately. Perhaps the Alabaster's product statue.
Take that!
Yes, finally. I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primaduck statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primadux himself? I see. Ambassador will be examining that statue now, with or without your permission. This kind of looks like the Steel Samurai, doesn't it? Or don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike that he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador? I suppose it's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap. Hey, you're right. Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret? Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction. What? Hurry up and open it, Miles. Alright, here it goes. Wow, it really did open up. Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. Is this like a printing press for fake bills? What in the... is this... Hey, is this what I think it is? It's a plate for making counterfeit bills. Somehow it appears that we've at long last arrived at the exit of this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates, and the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabasta to begin with. Counterfeit plate data added
jotted on my organizer. The Primarch statue can only be handled by the Ambassador or the Secretariat, and the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide the contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena, the Ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damask II. Surprised by the thief, Ambassador raised the replica statue at Damask II and then, in order to frame the steel samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai's sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? Oh yeah, I forgot. So what I remembered from this is I thought he had killed him and then had swapped them because he knew that he had the fake one or whatever, but no, that's right. It's the other way around.
You're the leader of the smuggling ring? My country's a mess, and it's all because of you?
You're the one who killed Damask II?
Answer us!
I never thought that you would figure things out this level. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was Mr. Cochin.
I just realized, does Alabas not have any, secretariats? Because Babal has Mr. Cochin, but who does, Alabast have? Not so fast! Quite screwing around. Nah. Nice. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. If there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Quercus Alba.
It's not good to speak with such subjectivity, you know, Agent Lang.
Subjectivity? My conclusion is anything but, and is the result of logic and investigation.
Logic and investigation? Only seconds ago you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you?
Huh. Wait, what were you saying? Don't think so? Oh, about the switch thing? Is that what you're saying to Portland? I'd like to think that Agent Lang was doing that just like as a farce, just to get investigative authority. It looks like you still don't get why I came back.
Excuse me?
You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you. Yep.
What?
Oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah, but you'd think they would. But it also makes sense why he wouldn't.
Agent Lang, I demand an explanation.
So, here's the thing. Although he was playing us to pursue Alba, the thing is, if we would have lost, Franziska would have just gone to jail, so, I mean... Huh. Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning.
You did?
I knew that this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. But without the Ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around.
Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Franziska of the murder. Using Franziska's debate, you were able to gain us entry and investigative rights.
Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the Ambassador would have given the okay to poke around. Huh.
So that's what all this is about. Very, very well. I will forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth. Agent Lang, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you. That was interesting, that weird animation with Francisco. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. Of course, sans for the, time where we almost failed and we had to convince you to give us another chance. The evidence detectives collect combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be in a prosecutor-detective team, right? I don't know about all that. But one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him.
Oh, you're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you?
Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me.
Agent Lang, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof.
Do you like Rice Krispie Treats, Portland? It was. It was very smart. And as I replay this game, I actually noticed a lot of similarities between the two games. Edgeworth games. So that's nice. Yeah, I haven't either until recently. Our school sells them in our school shop, so I'm just like, ooh. But yeah, I also agree. They're good.
I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring.
Objection! Don't be such a soiled yourself. If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity.
Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence. I tell you, I do nothing, really. I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue.
Objection! You swapped a real statue that vested in your country the authority to rule for a fake. It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything.
It doesn't make sense? Why doesn't it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense?
He's really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us. The proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see that to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing I can use to break this case wide open? The trump card in the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret, and the tape that was stolen by Detective Bad from the police. They're both illegal evidence. They're both illegal evidence. No matter what, a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence.
Needless to say, we Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory, and by any means necessary.
The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the court. That's what we thought at the time.
I no longer follow the path of Montfort Karma. And I won't follow the path of the YATAGARASU. This leaves me with what creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will solely my hands in illegality. And if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is one I must make by my own hand, here and now. Think clearly, Miles. Think. What would Gregory do? What would he do? The truth is all that matters here. Thus, it is also true that we must obtain the truth by any method possible. In this way, we are straying from Montfort von Karma in that we aren't convicting a defendant with illegal evidence. We are pursuing the very truth. And we also aren't believing that the law is incapable here. We just need to... So we aren't like the YATAGARASU either. I am Miles Edgeworth, and I will use the trump card. There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law too crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this.
Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life.
It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates.
Oh, is that what it is?
This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KG8 incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manny Cochin.
Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession?
Because it was hand-delivered to me by a certain great thief, the YATAGARASU.
The YATAGARASU gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense, and let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains directions from the ringleader?
I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given.
What?
This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG8 incident.
The KG8 incident?
The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate.
Oh, very interesting. I must admit I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence you presented.
The prey the YATAGARASU has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man who has had free rein for 10 long years to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me.
March 15th, 1:34 a.m. Theatre Neutralis lobby.
So what is this interesting thing that you wanted to show me?
The trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence together make for the ultimate hand. And this is where the real meaning behind Detective Bad's words will be realized. Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir. What you see here is security footage shot just before the KJ murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a directives card from the smuggling ring. This is the section that proves that the card was used to relay an order. Take that! As you can see, Mr. Cochin is holding the card in his right hand.
I see. The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. But that card and the one you have, just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are, does it now?
Ah, but there is a very easy way for me to prove that they are, in fact, one and the same. All we have to do is simply take a look at this. This dark red blood. Yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in that terrible tragedy. The blood belonged to the victim of the KG8 incident. With a bit of DNA testing, we can very easily verify that as fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. This car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building. It's an official Cadopian government car.
What?
Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. This area of the footage directly links the smuggling ring with Cadopia. Take that! What? Take that! This section will make it all clear to us. Oh no. Shoot. I'm told to say. Oh no. Oh, my bad. Take that! Shoot. Well, it looks like we're gonna have to do this. This was my bad entirely, sorry. Wait, did it save, yeah. Did it, I can't remember, did it save when we went to the Theatre Neutralis? Because if it did, I could totally just load that save. Let me test to see if it did by 1 second. Oh, thank goodness. Wait. No. Oh. It's... Not so fast. Objection. Objection. Man, why wasn't there a save point? Oh, sorry, I didn't see your message as well. I was fast forwarding, Portland. You press plus and it speeds up the FPS, and if you hold tab, it speeds it as well. So I'm doing both at the same time. Ugh, this one's weird. Let's just say we got another chance. I'm sure they would be kind enough to give this chance to us. And retrace our steps. Here we go. Ah, finally, okay. Take that! Okay. Okay, now we can slow down. Now we can sort of look at save state. There we go. There we go. Yeah. This area of the footage directly links the smuggling ring with Cadopia. Oh, well, it's... Take that! Duh. I didn't see that before. The shape of this pocket and the directives card on it. It tells us that without a doubt this person in this car is Mr. Cochin. The license plate on the car was also captured by the security camera, and with it we can easily find out who was sitting in this car on that day 10 years ago. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this car on that day.
You've done well, boy, to make it this far. However, about your claim that I was riding in the car at the time, that's going to be mighty difficult to prove.
How so?
The The Principality of Cadopia no longer exists. So naturally, all records from that time period also no longer exist.
That arrogance. What he really means, he's already erased all traces of them.
I know, right? They're so dramatic.
Are we finished here, boy?
The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. There must be something here that I can use against him. This is what I was pointing at before. That just in case. And take that! Yep, got it. What the... Ambassador Alba.
Yes, what is it?
You were once an army man in the service of Cadopia. And it was you who made the many missions you participated in successes, correct?
Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, the brilliant medals on my breast were awarded to me during the era of Cadopia. But now I am the only one who owns this particular medal.
Oh, in that case, the only person it could be who is sitting in this car is you.
How do you figure that?
By the medal captured here in this footage. It is clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest.
What?
This is how it will be, but I won't look back. For this is the path that I have chosen.
You've moved me with your devotion to this case, Mr. Edgeworth.
Why is he taking such an arrogant stance with me?
It's almost looking possible, isn't it? For the lot of you to have come this far. It looks like I just might lose our little game this time.
You might lose the game this time? You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador.
Is that a fact? Very well. I've decided to confess and admit my guilt.
You're going to confess?
And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result.
What the... Pretty sure this is the voice I used for this guy. It was really similar to Von Karma's. I think I changed a little bit this time, but... Regarding the demasked the second murder, I admit it.
I did it out of self-defense.
You're claiming it was justified self-defense.
Demasked the second attacked me, and I felt that my life was in danger. If I hadn't done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him. Oh no!
What a pathetic performance.
I'm not giving you one.
Wow, you two really know how to laugh at inappropriate times. If you wish to claim it was justified self-defense, we will need to see some evidence.
It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you require, I'll provide it.
You're the one who was, like, accusing us of... You're the one harping on us for not having any evidence. Hello? Dumbo.
That man left a mark on me when he attacked. What?
I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof that it was in self-defense. See? I'm an old man, and sometimes I don't pay enough attention when I should.
But Demask II didn't have a single weapon on his body.
Hold on. It's nothing to get worked up over because I hid the weapon.
You hid it?
I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it's in self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. This is the weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears.
Oh, it's covered in blood.
He was trembling quite badly during our struggle. That's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting in my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense.
Is he right, Mr. Edgeworth? Since he has both a wound and the weapon that caused it, it's enough to declare it so. Ambassador Albert's wound data jotted down my organizer. No way!
Oh, which reminds me, I guess there is still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all of that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on. Not so fast! Stop spewing nonsense. You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus in your desperation. If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you.
The murder of Demask II was done in self-defense? In my trials, no man escapes his crime alive.
Perhaps so, but if you're my opponent... Perhaps so if you're my opponent in court. However, there's one very important fact that I think you may have forgotten.
And what is that?
That's what you mean. Extraterritoriality. That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Alabastian soil. So any trial that is to be held will be held in Alabast. Therefore, the crime I just committed to will never be tried in your courts.
Agent Lang, what is Interpol's stance on this?
Agents investigate, that's our job. The judgment of people who have confessed their crime, that's the court's job. And I've already confessed to all of my crimes, Agent Lang. Oh. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterritorial rights. These rights are effective, even on your country's soil. Therefore, no matter where a crime may take place, I will never stand trial in one of your courts. That arrogance in your expression. That's nothing like the face of someone who's ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system eating right out of your hands. These crimes you all speak so seriously of. To me, this has all been nothing more than a game. You may chase me out of this embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Alabast has numerous other embassies in other countries around the world. All you would accomplish is you would change the backdrop of our little game.
These two layers of protection that extraterritoriality provides him. This is why he is one of those who cannot be brought to court.
You see now, don't you? I live in a world
world than you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and fetch your eviction papers. Is there nothing we can do? To be continued. Ooh, getting serious. Safe. Yes, thank goodness. That voice, Alba, like wears out my voice a lot. Just like Manfred von Karma did, but more so. March 15th to 11 a.m. The Action Child's lobby. I can't believe it, sir. Extraterritoriality. Yes, and there's nothing we can really do about that. In the end, we didn't have enough authority to bring him to justice. I can't believe that even though we know he's the boss, we can't lay a finger on him. I know. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sorry to skip out on you, but I've got some business to take care of. If we can't even give an evil guy like him a slap on the wrist, then what the heck were laws created for? What good are they? If the law can't help us, then I'll go as the YATAGARASU and take care of this myself. Don't you dare! Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry, that was a bit too harsh. I know how you feel, sir. We're trying to take on an ambassador after all. And he did tell us earlier to get out of the theater. This is kind of their country, I guess. But I feel like I've been slapped across the face for just doing my job. What am I going to do? Should I retreat for now and formulate a better plan of attack? Hold it! Come on, everyone, we can't give up yet! Okay. I want you to think about something for a sec. We've never let up for even a second, and as long as we don't stop investigating, we might find the rotten treasure hidden here. She's right. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. You're right, Kay. Very well. Let us reopen the investigation and see what we find. Come on, Kay. Right behind you. Okay, then I'll go check out Babal a bit more, sir. And I have something that I need to investigate further in Alabast. Now then, before I gather any more information, I should do a bit of housekeeping. Passion Flowers data erased from my organizer. Begin investigation at the Admiral Charles lobby. Ambassador Alba seemed agitated over something. Agitated Alba, I sense that there is something he doesn't want us to investigate. I wonder why. There are two special circumstances that surround the ambassador. First, the embassy itself has extraterritorial rights. If something happens on Alabastian soil, we are unable to legally prosecute him. Cool, it sounds like embassies are the perfect place to steal whatever you want. And Murder Team Mask II run a smuggling operation and make fake counterfeit bills, apparently. But I thought all the counterfeiting was done by Mr. Cochin and Babal. Yes, he apparently used the embassy's coupon printing press to do it. Cochin's counterfeiting operation used Babali's embassy's printing press and Babali's ink to make counterfeit bills. But it's the same story over there anyway. Babal also... Babal also has extraterritorial rights. Which brings me to my next point, the ambassador's extraterritorial rights. Those rights are effective even in our own country. Really? No matter what happens, he can never be tried in our courts. He retains some very special rights indeed. Basically, no matter what wrongs he may commit, we can't bring him to trial here. So I guess we really don't stand a chance, do we? We might stand a chance if we can somehow nullify either one of his special rights. Okay, I'm sorry, Portland, but my voice is getting tired, and unfortunately I thought this might have been the finale, but I guess
maybe tomorrow's 8th and final episode will be the finale, but my voice is just getting tired from Corcus Alba, and I know I'm going to have to do more of that for sure. And this seems like a good stopping point. And we've been playing for a while too, so I'll save state. Thank you for watching from Portland, of course, as always. I always appreciate that, and yeah, for sure, no problem. I enjoy streaming, especially for or just like people who like to watch. But yeah, anyway, we will continue this tomorrow. So good night.